What is up, lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome back to the cat and to you guys as well on the third in the series for this Bonneville T120 Black. Today we are going to do the tail tidy. There it is, sitting down there from TEC Bike Parts. We are going to dismantle this rear section here. I believe, if memory serves me, we have to get rid of the grab handle there. That's the only downside, because you can't get the tail tidy in there with the grab handle still in place. You have to get rid of that, if I remember correctly. And as I said, we're going to fit that on there. It comes with some indicators. Well, it doesn't come with the indicators. I bought some indicators which I've shown you on the first video. We're going to put those in today, those beautiful black metal LED indicators. We're going to slip those in there as well. We've done the exhaust, the Norman Hydes. If you haven't seen the Norman Hyde video, I'll stick it in up here somewhere. And we've done the cat as well. I'm hoping you've seen that second video and the first one, obviously the intro. But today we are going to concentrate on doing this tail tidy here and possibly even the sump guard. It depends how quickly we can get this done, because it's a bit of a strange old day. It's mid-June and it keeps kind of spitting with rain, and I've got a jumper on, believe it or not, but that is 2022 for you and the climate change that we are. So enough waffling. I'll stick you on time lapse and show you how we dismantle this rear section here, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more, and I'll put you back on time lapse when we put the tail tidy on. Here comes the cat again. All right, stand by. So a very slight drama before we've even gotten things underway. Essentially what you'll find is once you've taken the seat up and off the bike, you've got this one plug here. I got a feeling someone may have already been in here, because it's got some insulation tape here and here as well, which I don't remember seeing. It doesn't look stock. This little plug, it really is a pain in the bum, because that little black lever there, to push that in, you've got to get a tiny little screwdriver. I don't think they want you to get this plug unplugged, basically, so they've made it as bloody difficult as they can. But it does come out, as you can see. The second little drama was, as soon as I took out these two bolts here that hold the back of the mudguard in, they snapped off. They literally just snapped off. I'm not quite sure why. I think the captive nut is still in there. I don't know if you can see that in there, but yeah, that's going to be a bit of a drama, I think. I'm not sure. We'll see if we can get that off. And then basically all you've got then are these two little bolts here. And then basically this entire rear assembly should just fall away. That's the plan anyway. Let's see how that cracks on. So it's off, as you can see, guys. The rear assembly there, the rear mudguard and light unit. Just literally one wire there, and unplug it, as I told you, from this little socket here, which is a bit of a pain in the bum. You've got to get right in there with a tiny screwdriver. It will come out eventually. That is it though. You don't need to do anything else. There's two bolts here and there are two bolts here. All four rounded off. I kid you not. I'm not sure whether they're on the floor somewhere here, but all four of them rounded off to the point where you can actually see them in the mudguard there, which isn't a huge problem, because from what I remember, they give you the bolts to put on the new tail tidy anyway, so I don't think it's a huge drama. That's how she looks naked, as it were, with no rear mudguard or tail unit per se. We are going to fit this bad boy down here in a second, but as I said, I think we need to get rid of this here, this grab rail. I will offer this up and we'll do this on time lapse so we can get a better idea. Okay, well, it looks like they've changed things, guys, because when I first fitted a tail tidy from TEC Bike Parts, I'm sure that I had to take off part of the grab rail because it wouldn't fit flush in, because I'm sure it was this bit here that was fouling. Now what they've done seemingly is given you, I'm hoping you can see that, they've given you these spacers just here which will fit just here by the looks of things. That should negate any kind of having to take off this a little bit here. I'm hoping so anyway, so we're going to try and fit this in there now and see how we get on. Okay, so we've had a quick look around. As you can see, there is the tail tidy from TEC Bike Parts. There are the fitting bits and bobs down there. You do actually have to get rid of this handle here, because what happens effectively, I'm hoping I can show you this, once it's in place like so, you will notice you can't get the indicator into the part that needs the indicator, i.e. that bit there. Once this is in place, with this grab rail in the way, you can't fit an indicator. So effectively what we are going to have to do is get rid of this, which is, I think the whole thing's going to have to come out from behind the shock absorbers there, and it'll just pull out. At least that's the theory, so we'll crack on with that, see how we get on. So we're making progress, guys. As you can see, we've taken off that little grab rail there. It does have to come off. It purely has to come off for the indicators, which is such a shame to have to take that entire piece off there just to fit the indicators into these little sockets here, but that's the price you pay, I guess, for making your bike look cool. Easy enough to take off. As you can see on the inside of the shocks, the rear shocks, there's a bolt here. I'm hoping that'll shine in there, and another one there, and then it's just these four bolts here. As you can see, that's just pretty much how it comes off. I'm going to put these bolts all back in now, just so I know where they are if I ever want to change everything back. But now, in theory, with the spacers in place, as you can see down there, the parts that arrive from TEC Bike Parts, we're going to fit this up. What I would suggest, though, is you fit fit the rear light in now and run the wire up through just so it's out of the way, just loosely fit it and then bolt everything back up together, and then you should be looking at getting ready for the wiring. So we'll get on with that and we'll cut back in as soon as we're a little bit further down the road. So we've had to come inside, guys, because it started raining outside and I wanted to fit this rear light unit to the tail tidy before we go any further. There it is in its entirety, and here are the instructions as well. You do get 2 sheets of instructions from TEC Bike Parts on how to fit this tail tidy to the T120 Black, and it's pretty comprehensive, it's pretty idiot proof. It doesn't talk about having to take the grab rail off though, so I'm assuming some bikes have a grab rail, some bikes don't, and they just haven't mentioned that in there, but it's pretty obvious you have to, because otherwise, as I said, you can't get the indicators in here. So firstly, you need to make sure that you've got this gasket. It comes obviously with this. Make sure that's in the right place. It can only go that way round, because it's pretty obvious if you get it the wrong way around. And then you've got these 2 little nuts, well, just over here. Take those off the back of here, and then you can run the wire straight through that hole there, and in theory pop your light straight into there and clamp it in the other side using those bolts there. So we'll do that and then we'll get back outside again. Alright, so progress so far. As you can see, the tail tidy is actually on. The light is secured in there with the little rubber grommet that goes around the outside. It takes a little bit of faffing about, but nothing too serious. There's the 2 bolts that hold it in place here, and there's the spacers. You can see there. What I would suggest is you get one in, and then you can slide the other spacer in. Same with these here, because otherwise you've got to keep moving things up and down. There goes the cat again. You've got to keep moving things up and down to try and get it into place, but it's not difficult. It takes a couple of minutes. There's the wiring supplied by TEC Bike Parts. It comes from the original loom there up into here. From what I remember, these are the lights here, as in these 3 here. They're pretty obvious, and these are then the indicators, but it's all outlined here as you can see. From what I remember, it's counterintuitive because the blue goes to the red and the red goes to the blue, the black goes to the black. It's not red to red, blue to blue. Alright, just remember that, because otherwise you get no brake light from what I remember. So we're going to wire this all in and then we're going to see where we are. We're in and wired up, guys. I've actually tightened up this tail tidy here. That's pretty solid in place. I might tighten up a little bit more, and there is the LED rear light. As you can see, we've connected the blue to the red and the red to the blue, which is, as I said, counterintuitive, but otherwise you will get no rear brake light. I learnt this from the first time around. They didn't actually tell us that on the first set of instructions, but I think it's kind of covered rather in the pamphlet they give you for this. So that's it all wired in. Those are the wires for the indicators, which we're going to get on with next. We've obviously got to change over the number plate, but that's as simple as it is. It's literally 4 bolts takes that off, another 4 bolts takes off the rear grab rail if you've got one. Let me just turn off this engine. So we're looking at what, 8 bolts over there, and then 4 bolts to put this tail tidy in, and it is that simple. It is plug and play. One thing I will say about this rear LED tail light that confused me the first time around, I modified mine. If you look on my Instagram account, you'll see how I modified mine. There is no little gap at the bottom per se with a white light to show the number plate. I don't know how that will work for the next MOT. I mean, I've got a 13-month MOT, so I'm fine with that. But you might, I don't know, because these lights, from what I can see, they don't shine a white light down because it's a red lens, as you can see. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. I'll leave that up to the new owner when I sell this beauty. But at the moment, it's fine. You know, what you could do, I suppose, is you could get some of those LED bolts that hold your number plate in, use those, you know, or just stick another light in for the MOT and have done with it, you know. It's not a huge problem, but it's just something to note. As I said, they don't give you a little white light basically at the bottom, which I do find a little bit extraordinary. Maybe TEC Bike Parts can chime in and let me know about that. Maybe you don't need to on these. It's just an observation, so bear that in mind. You might want to fit another rear light on it. I like the rear light, I think it looks awesome, but it doesn't have a white bit at the bottom to show the number plate, which I'm slightly concerned about and a little bit confused about. Apart from that, absolute plug and play piece of cake. 8 bolts gets all that off, 4 bolts gets all that in, 2 screws to hold that in, and then it's plug and play wires. It could not be simpler. So let's get these indicators in and then the number plate on, and we'll see exactly how this looks. Okay, so these are the little bullet indicators that we got from TEC Bike Parts along with this huge packet. It's looking like they've got nice little bullet connectors on the end of them, so they're going to fit straight into that little loom over there. It's going to be obviously black to black on there, and then obviously yellow to whatever colour's on there. I don't think they're colour coded on that loom, but it's idiot proof. I mean, you can't go far wrong with it. It'll either work or it won't. And these are them. They are so nice. I'm hoping you can see those. They're just a kind of an anodized black with an LED in there, and they just look absolutely awesome. It's going to look so nice on this bike, these indicators. We've got a set of 4 of them. They will fit straight into those little holes down down there, and they're going to look stunning, I'm sure of it. Let's get on with it. How nice do they look on there? Absolutely stunning. I love the way they look. They really set off the rear of this bike now with that tail tidy and those little bulbs in there. When you bear in mind how expensive the actual Triumph branded LED kind of anodized black indicators are, they're something like 140 quid for a pair or something. It's crazy money. These, no, I'll stick the prices for everything in the description, but I think they were about £30, something around there, 30, 40 quid. I'll stick the price in up in this corner anyway, and you'll see for yourself. So you can get a set of 4 for less than half the price of a set of 2, I think, you would get from Triumph. We are obviously going to test them out once everything's wired in, but I think you'll agree, they look bloody stunning, and they're going to look pretty awesome at the front here as well, because obviously we're going to stick them at the front to get rid of these great big broom handle ones here. That is very impressive from TEC Bike Parts. I've got to say, I love those indicators. They did send out some kind of generic LED ones as well, but I think I'm going to stick with these. I may do what Del Boy did in Del Boy's garage and just get a little bit of heat shrink and just come up over the top of here and just heat that in there, but I'm not sure yet. Basically, what you need to do and what you need to remember, I did forget to mention in the first part, is there is a little hole just here where my finger is down there. You run the wire up through there, so obviously when you get these wires, you just run them up through that hole there and they'll come out here, as you'll see in a minute. So now we've come to the front of the bike, the indicators here at the headlight. Pretty simple. All you got to do is literally undo these bolts here, the 2 at the top there. That'll let the light drop down, put the bolts back in so you don't lose them. These then effectively just swing out of the way. I've taken the indicator out of that side, but you can see pretty much what happens. You can pull the wires out from the lamp, so you don't have to take off the whole front of the lamp. There they are, left and right. I think somebody might have been in here before, because these have been stripped and they should look like that, which means they're plug and play, because you actually get these extra bits from TEC Bike Parts to connect it all. If I can just get that out of the way, you get that little extra bit there which clips into the original loom and then clips onto these indicators here, which is really useful. Can't use that on this side though. Got some proper connectors. I'll do that. I'll do what I can with that. It's all hidden inside here anyway, but that's it. You literally drop the bike down, pull the wires up through, disconnect the indicators, as you can see from here, and that's done. One slight problem, which is a surprise, I'm surprised I didn't think of that, is that these won't fit in the original holes. I'll show you what I mean in a second. You feed the wire through, but as you can see, that bolt there on the indicator, the LED indicator for the front, is too big basically to go through that hole. So we are going to have to compromise and drill it out a bit. It's not a great drama, to be fair, but I think they maybe would have thought about that when they designed these. I mean, they're beautiful, beautiful indicators, don't get me wrong, but that's a bit of a pain in the bum if you don't actually have a drill to hand. I do, luckily, so we'll get on with that. And I'll cut back in once it's all back together, and then I'll talk to you about hyper flash and how the indicators look and all that kind of good stuff. So we are just about there, guys, with the tail tidy and the indicators. It's all bolted in. As you can see, the indicators are on the back there, and they are also on the front there. And I gotta say, they look spectacular. I really am so impressed with that for the price. They need a little bit of adjustment, obviously, because we've just kind of bodged them in there just to get this done, but I think you'll agree they look brilliant. I managed to close up the gap at the top of this light as well, if you remember from the first video. They just look stunning, as does that tail tidy. One thing to note though, you see these little spaces here? There's 2 small ones there and there's 2 larger ones there. Don't do what I did and put the small ones at the back and the big ones at the front, because you won't get the seat on. So if you're wondering why your seat won't fit, it's as simple as the larger spaces go at the back there and the smaller ones go at the front. Simple as that. Let's get this seat on. So we are done, guys. Apart from tightening up a couple of bolts, the tail tidy and the indicators are on. And as I said, we've just got to tweak a couple of little things and tighten a couple of little things up, as you can see from that one there. That one there probably needs to come down just ever so slightly. You just give it a twist and there you are. As you can see, that's that done. The headlights back in. I've showed you how easy that is, and I think you'll agree it looks pretty good, although I think now it needs a smaller number plate. I had to cut off, I did cut off a little bit too much, truth be known, but I had to cut off a little bit of the number plate there because it was just fouling the light ever so slightly there, but I got a feeling that's just because it's the standard number plate and it's just a little bit too big basically. But I think you'll agree those indicators and that tail tidy look pretty spectacular. I'm pretty impressed with that, I've got to say. For the money you spend on that compared to what you would spend if you bought it from Triumph or Triumph branded stuff, that's amazing value. So thank you so much for TEC Bike Parts for sending that kind of stuff out to me as well. We have got some other bits and bobs we're going to fit. We're going to fit the bar end mirrors, we're going to fit the levers, we're going to fit the booster plug, we're going to fit the, what do you call it, the sump guard as well. All that'll come up in another video, I think, because otherwise this video is just going to take way too long. It's taken a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that is my lack of kind of preparation in that respect. I've just been pootling about out here, but I think you'll agree battery for about an hour's work. That is pretty spectacular. Now, something I want to talk to you about ever so quickly is the hyper flash. If we quickly turn this ignition on, as so, I'll stick the indicators on, and as you can see, we've got a hyper flash issue. Now, normally in that situation, you would need to go and get yourself a set of these, which I've got down here, these RNG inline resistors. You don't need to do that on the Triumph T120. Here's a little trick for you. All you do is you hold down the info button and then you turn the ignition on like so until it goes to type. Right, there's type. You've got to type 1, 2, 3 and 4. It's by standard on 1. If you change it to 2 and then hold down the info button until it changes again, turn it off, turn it back on again, and we should have no more hyper flash. Look at that. That is just a normal flashing indicator, and you can do it on your bike, which I think is spectacular. I think this has got, yeah, let's just stick those on to make things a little bit nicer, won't it? So there you go. That is the indicators fitted to the bike. Hyper flash done, gone in like 30 seconds. Not even that really, was it? And as you can see at the back, these LED indicators look video. As I said, otherwise this is going to be like an hour long, and I'm sure you've got better things to do than to listen to me waffle on for an hour. So that's it for today. We've done the tail tidy, we've done the LED indicators, and we've stopped the hyper flash. Hope you enjoyed it. Comments below, please, guys. Tell me what you think. Does it look good? Does it look bad? Would you have left it? I think it looks stunning. All right, thanks, guys, for watching. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. All that good stuff. And we'll catch up in the next one.